Hey there, I'm Tommy Danger, and today we're going to look at the Spyder Holster V2. This is the new and improved Spyder Holster belt system that works sort of well with the Canon EOS R5, and I'll get into that in just a second. Let's go ahead and talk about the belt first. First off, it's got the actual mounting system itself is a stainless steel kind of slot-like trap, and that the belt plate will actually slide into. And then there's a little locking system here for extra security. You just hit it down for it to be permanently locked, or you can hit it halfway for it to like lock into place when you put the camera down. I usually just leave this lock off because of the fast access that it has, and it's very, very secure when it goes down. I'll show that in a little bit here. The whole belt is adjusted just on Velcro right here. It's this nice soft padded Velcro. You just adjust it to that point. You only have to adjust it the one time unless you're adding another one of these systems on to carry two cameras at once. Then you have to loosen this again to put that on. In the V2, what's really nice about it is this center part right here. Let's see if I could show that. There we go. This center part right here has a belt locking system that you normally can hit these two buttons and take it off. Now they added a third button on the inside, so all three buttons have to be hit to disconnect it. So once it's on, which is great because when you're holding the belt, or when you're trying to do something and you lean over, you don't accidentally hit these two buckles and the whole belt comes down, dropping your camera, making you look like a fool in front of whoever you are doing a photo shoot for or with. So yeah, it's a great little belt. We're going to go ahead and put it on to describe it. But first, let me talk about what it comes with. It comes with this plate right here. And this plate is the Spyder mounting system. It has two little soft pads to go on the bottom of the camera. And it has a normal 1/4-20 mounting from the middle of the camera itself. You also have the tiny peg there, see that peg? That's what slides down into the belt itself to lock the camera into place. What's cool about these plates is they have both 1/4-20 holes here, so you can put a tripod mounting plate on this to keep this, so that you can keep this whole thing on the bottom of your camera the whole time and just have a new tripod plate underneath it whenever you need it. Also, every one of the little plates has an Allen wrench built in to the plate, so you never forget it. You could just press down, twist, and it shoots out like that really fast, spring-loaded, so you can then put it on and off. So let's go ahead and show off the whole thing together. Okay, so this is the Canon EOS R5. It is the Canon EOS R5 with the EF 100mm macro on it and the EF to RF adapter. I don't really have very many RF lenses. I only have one, and I'm currently using it to record this video, so I can't really show that as an example, but that's okay. It's still gonna work the same way. So at the bottom of the Canon EOS R5 is that plate that I was just showing you, and you can see that there's a pin on the far side here, and that's so that when I go to put it on my camera belt, I have the whole thing, you just take the pin, it slides right down into that slot, and you can just drop the camera, and it's fully secured. Now, if you see, I can move around, I can wiggle, do a little dance, right? I've climbed a tree already with this before, and you can lean, like I said, you can lean over as much as you need, and the camera doesn't really move. It wiggles a little bit side to side, but that's what that little pad is here for, so that it doesn't scratch the camera when it's moving. What's cool about this is I can pull it a whole bunch of times. Pull as much as I want, really kind of move it around and jump up and down, and it doesn't come off of the Spyder belt. It'll stay on the Spyder belt the entire time. If for whatever reason you're still worried about that, you can just move that little latch down and it won't move no matter what happens. The only way to really take this off the camera, or off the belt, is if I take the camera and I lift it 90 degrees and then pull it straight up. So this might take a couple seconds to get used to. It's really not that bad if you just do this a bunch of times, which you probably will if you buy one of these. They're really entertaining. I don't know, it's really entertaining to me. But you could just pick this up and use it at any moment. Just like that. So if I'm in the middle of a photo shoot and I want to try to describe the pose to the model, or I'm trying to adjust a light, I have full free control to do anything and just walk around as I need to. And if whenever I'm ready to take it, I just one-handed lift it up and be able to shoot. That's a really wonderful advantage to have. You've now freed up your hands, you have this full thing. What makes this so good compared to a camera strap is a camera strap utilizes your neck or your shoulder or your other shoulder, you know, whatever you got on there, and it's going to push in, especially on a heavier camera like the Canon EOS R5 with a battery grip and, you know, maybe a long lens and stuff. That'll add a lot of weight to things to where it'll wear on your neck, it'll wear on your back. You'll be sore by the end of several hours worth of shooting. I know for wedding photographers, especially if they have a 2-camera system, they're going to have a strap here, and then they're just weighed down by it the whole time. After a couple hours, you get kind of sore. What's nice about this is all the weight is centered on your hips, and your hips can support a lot of weight, so you can just leave them here, and it feels pretty comfortable, and you have a normal way of moving about. And whenever you're ready, you just can take the shot. So this is actually a really great system. It's really good for the Canon EOS R5. I looked all over the internet and couldn't find anybody using the Spider holster on Canon EOS R5. I couldn't understand why. And I know it's a new camera and it's going to take a while before people actually see this. That's why I wanted to get this video out. Is because there is a tiny problem with this plate. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. If you noticed, I don't have a battery door on my camera right now. It's because I use a battery grip. Alright, so I have the Canon EOS R5 with the battery grip and a normal lens on, which means there's no lens collar to it whatsoever. Now we have a problem. This camera plate normally will fit just fine on the bottom of most cameras. If you look at the battery grip here, there's this kind of like foot that comes really far out on the camera. Well, that's really nice for the battery grip's sake because I could shoot vertically with the battery grip and it's absolutely comfortable in my hands. However, this plate, if you look at the arms on these plates, there's these tiny little knobs, and I don't know if you could see it from here. I'm going to try to point one out to you. There's these tiny little knobs right here. Yeah, that'll probably show. And these knobs are to keep the plate from turning while it's on the bottom of the thing. Say like the quarter 20 gets loose or whatever. I actually don't really know because this thing's pretty tight, so I don't really know why you would need that. Plus you got the rubber pads that keep the thing from spinning. But I digress. These are solid steel little knobs. With this foot is unfortunately sticks out way too far for as much as this quarter 20 slides. These little knobs will dig all up into your battery grip. So what becomes a really big problem is you'll get 2 notches on the bottom of your battery grip that look exactly like the knobs. Now this is obviously just a cosmetic damage, but it is still damage on your battery grip. So if you're the type of person that likes to resell your camera when you go to upgrade and get a new camera, you're going to lose some money out of that simply by having those 2 weird notches dug into the camera. So far, I've only worn this plate for a couple hours at a time, and these notches have been kind of staying there, but they go away after a little bit. This is supposed to be a forever stay on your camera solution so that you can always use the Spider holster system. Especially because they even put 2 quarter 20s at the bottom, so you can put an Arca Swiss plate or a Manfrotto plate, whatever you use, and then that'll allow you to leave this on your camera and then be able to still have a plate to go on the tripod. I found that leaving this on with a battery grip starts to dent into that camera. So I don't really want to do that because I want to keep my camera in good condition. I mean, you spend so much money on these things. A battery grip's like $400 in the US here. So why would you want to then damage it just because you wanted to keep some convenience on? So yeah, so that's my real problem with it. Simple solutions are you just don't use a battery grip. So like for photo shoots, I will not have the battery grip on if they're a short, or if they're a long photo shoot. If it's a short photo shoot, I will put the battery grip on and just kind of deal with the bumps, because I'm probably going to keep this camera for quite a long time. I just got it, pretty excited about it. But then the real best solution is if you use long lenses. Okay, so this is my Canon 100-400 EF IS USM version 2. It is a beautifully sharp lens. It is a gorgeous thing. I recommend getting one of these. I know they have the new 100-500 RF out. If I feel like it's just as well. Performance, I don't feel like there's too much of a problem with focus acquirement and anything else. I see so many reviews comparing the two, and everybody out there says, if you have one of these, don't worry about upgrading. And I can agree with them, because this is an amazing lens. I use this for wildlife, mostly birds, and just anything I can't reach and need to react to fast. That 400 is actually a really great focal length. So this is usually my whole wildlife setup. And now, with the Spider holster system, they have a version 2 of this lens collar plate. What's so great about this lens collar plate is you got the two knobs, so it doesn't matter what side holster you mount it on. It's also got one of those little Allen wrenches that spring out. Haha, I got it that time. Right, so you have this little Allen wrench to be able to mount it to the camera. And it in itself, well, that's a little tongue twister, it in itself is an Arca Swiss mounting plate. So it does double duty as a tripod plate, but also the Spider holster plate. What's so great about this one is because when you have a heavy camera lens and you put it on a camera body, the little mounting piece between the two is recommended that you don't put a lot of pressure on that all the time, especially for long periods of time, because supposedly that part is so weak that it could actually break with long use. I haven't seen that, haven't heard of it. I'm pretty grateful that I haven't, but yeah. So that's the thing there. So it's always good to mount a heavy long lens with the lens collar. This one fits on the collar, and you can have the battery grip free floating in the back. And it sits on just the same way, same kind of style. I've actually hiked like this, where I've had to climb trees to get to certain things, and crouch down under stuff, crawl under bushes, and this stays on the whole time, no problem. You can just walk around, do whatever you need to do, jumping over rocks and stuff, everything's fine. I see a bird, pick it up, same way as the other plate, not the old plate, the other plate that goes on the bottom of the camera. So this works really well. I like this with the Canon EOS R5 better than this guy here, because this is really good without a battery grip. But this is good for a lot of things. In fact, this actually will work down here just as well. So this is actually a really good buy to buy this, because then ultimately you're going to have that same mounting system if you use a battery grip or if you use a heavy lens. If you use that long lens plate, it'll work on this part and on this part just the same without getting in the way, without digging into your camera, and without messing it up. So yeah, so I recommend when you buy the Spider holster belt, which is, I can't stress this enough, this is a wonderful thing. It works really well on all sorts of cameras. This is a really compatible thing. It's gonna come with this plate, and this plate is great, but I wouldn't use this plate if you like to have a battery grip. If you own a battery grip, I think it doesn't work on other battery grips either. I think those two little notches are just too close to the camera body. So the mounting plate's going to be in the way when you put it onto your battery grip. So I honestly think it's just better, like just outright, this is going to come with this belt, and you want that long lens plate for this camera system, especially if you're going to use a battery grip. Just safe for all sorts of things. So that's my review on whether or not the compatibility for the Canon EOS R5 works with the Spyder Holster V2. That little problem is why I said sort of in the title, because it sort of works. Just don't have a battery grip, or buy a long lens plate, and then you could wear whatever you'd like. I might try shaving that off. I don't know how much that's going to ruin the integrity of this plate, but I might try grinding off those little notches and see if that'll help, because we're talking millimeters. If this quarter 20 in the middle would slide just a couple millimeters over, then this would clear that grip and everything would be good. So that's it. So that is the Spyder Holster V2 with the Canon EOS R5. If you like what you saw here, or if you listen to this really long-winded explanation of things, please go ahead and give me a like on the video. It really helps with the algorithm. As well as go ahead and follow my Instagram. You can follow my main Instagram at Danger in Focus. There's 2 underscores in the name, and danger is spelled differently. As well as my nature photography account for when I use this combo here, and my macro combo. And that is Danger in Focus without the underscores in the name. So I hope you enjoyed this video on the Spyder Holster Canon EOS R5. Have a good one. See you next time.